Hello and welcome to the Club and Pack show for 4/25/2016. This is our main focus for today is going to be the patch notes that are coming out for Hearthstone. Some serious changes going on there. We're going to talk a little bit about the Overwatch beta hype, and we're going to talk about Battleborn just to squeak, a little bit about the Division, and then we'll probably close it up with my thoughts on Dark Souls 3. But overall, it's been April was a good month for games. I wish I'd had a chance to play more, honestly.
April was a good month in general for like everything. So many mediocre good movies came out in April. I'm so happy.
What mediocre good movies are you talking about?
The Jungle Book.
Okay, I didn't see Jungle Book.
Hardcore Henry, such a mediocre movie. And Snow White 2. Also mediocre. Haven't seen it yet, but Snow White 1 was pretty good and mediocre.
Just completely, so incredibly mediocre, eh?
Oh, everything. But, like, I love mediocre fantasy movies.
The best.
The best.
Did you watch, were you like the guy who was in line for the Dungeon Siege movie? And we're just like, oh yeah, this is the hype as shit, oh yeah.
Hold on. There's a Dungeon Siege movie?
You didn't know this?
I did not know this.
Don't get your hopes up. It's Uwe Boll.
As I'm currently using my Dungeon Siege 2 mousepad.
Are you actually?
Yes.
Okay, for all that's holy, do not watch the Dungeon Siege movie. It's super bad.
Oh, it sounds amazing. I can't wait.
Oh, it's awful.
I cannot wait. You have opened my mind.
Oh, God. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
So excited. Thank you so much.
All right. Do you want to just jump into the Hearthstone changes? Because it's pretty big stuff getting ready for oh my god, it's like what, Wrath of the Old Gods? Is that what it's called?
Yes. Wrath of the Old Gods?
I have no idea. It's something of the Old Gods.
Sounds like the Lich King.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But like Druid getting nerfed super hard.
Okay, but like in general, all these major nerfs, they must be a sign of things to come. Like these cards would have just been too overpowered with the current Druid set coming out, right? Is that the idea I'm gathering?
So what, you think that the nerfs to these, like, and these are core cards, right? These aren't, mech cards. These aren't anything that was released later on. These are like core set cards that we're seeing some changes to. So you think that they're nerfing these so that they can increase the power level for the next set a little bit?
No, more so that if they had kept them at the current power level, Druid would have been OP.
Well, Druid's already OP.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Paladin. I guess Paladin is more cheap, right? But
it just feels like Druid's always been in this weird, like, too big to fail kind of scenario where a lot of its cards that make it really powerful. I think I'm just really glad that they didn't nerf Wild Growth and Innervate. I think that could have been like an easy way out.
Right, I'm glad they kept them the way they are.
Yeah. I mean, like let's just look at the first one, right? So like the Ancient of Lore change. This is probably the least egregious change, I think, of all of them.
Really?
Yeah. I think that every other change that I've seen in here is far more impactful than the fact that Ancient of Lore only draws you one card now. Because Ancient of Lore was just like this value engine. Because like a 5/5 body's pretty good. It trades with a lot of scary things. And even though it was overcosted at 7 mana, it was a 3-for-1, right? Like you would pay 7 mana, get this 5/5, and then draw 2 cards.
That's right.
And it was just like, it was like a reasonable body that could kill a Lotheb, that could kill a Sylvanas, that could kill anything with 5 toughness, really. I mean, like it's gonna kill a Sludge Belcher and survive. It's gonna like do a lot here. And just the fact that you were getting that card, and if you were ahead, it just pulled you further ahead, while at the same time you could play it while you were behind to stabilize and heal. It's just like the card did everything.
Now it's just a 2-for-1, which I think is fair for a card that isn't legendary. Okay, that's a good point.
Right? Also,
the fact that it's healing, I think, is going to be way more significant now. Because Anti-Keelbot is gone.
True, with Anti-Keelbot rotating out, like it's a much better card for like long game druids. It's going to be a lot more useful. Obviously, like honestly, but I don't think it hurts Druid that much. Like that change in particular, like feels totally fine and will not change how any decks playing Ancient of Lore work. And I think that if you're playing Ancient of Lore, you're still going to play Ancient of Lore.
That's right. It doesn't ruin a completely viable Druid deck, unlike the next card that we're going to talk about.
It was just like Ancient of Lore was always value, and it never felt like it was wrong to play it on turn 7 or turn 5 with an Innervate.
Right. Yep.
Now, going from changes that I don't think affected the class to changes that do affect the class. So, Force of Nature is such a huge nerf.
Yes.
So huge.
Yes.
Blizzard basically have realized that Charge is probably the most broken mechanic in Hearthstone. It's too easily abusable.
Yep.
And it means that you can win. We saw it with Leroy Jenkins when he was 4 mana, and we're seeing it again in this set of patch notes. We're seeing it with Force of Nature, and we're seeing it with the robot. What's his name? The Golem with Arcane Golem. We're seeing like the same idea because Charge is just so powerful when you can use it to win on the turn you play the card. It's the same reason Warsong Commander was so good, because just having charging Grim Patrons is ridiculous. You know, having every single one of your creatures below a certain power be charged is very powerful, and it means that I have to predict what's in your hand, and if I can't stop you from getting charged, or if you just have charge cards in your hand and I don't have a Taunter, I just lose the game more times than not. And the amount of times I've won a game as Druid where I've played a Force of Nature, played a Savage Roar, done 4-12, 4-8-12, 14 damage, you know, out of nowhere. That's with just these trends. You know, that's half your life.
Yeah. It was quite the combo.
Yeah, it's all out of hand, and it's only 2 cards. That's not asking a lot, especially with the amount of cards that Druid can draw and how well they are at keeping the board clear. You know, because all their creatures have like pretty good staying power. So now it's 1 mana less, and you just get to keep 5 3/2/2s. So it's 6 power, 6 health on the board for 5 mana. Still good. Not going to win you the game on the spot.
No, just I think it's good where it's at right now. I think if it never was as it was before, we wouldn't be talking. Like, I think this is a perfectly balanced card.
I think the writing was on the wall for Force of Nature. Like, I think that it was pretty obvious that this was too good.
Yeah.
You know, I think that Druid, like especially for a class specific card, it just feels so good. You know?
As they said, it won't feel mandatory to always include the combo now.
Exactly. It never felt like I had an option. Force of Nature was just too strong.
Right.
Always. Like, always include 2 copies, no matter what. I think the intention was for it to be more like a removal spell, and it ended up just winning games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then, like, on top of all that, you know, we've got, like, Keeper of the Grove, which is just, like, one of the best utility cards in the game.
I loved this card.
I know. I still like it. I wish it was a 3/3. I feel like a 4-mana 3/3 with these effects would still be okay. The 4 health was really good.
Yes.
Because it basically meant you could play this on turn 2 with an Innervate and be like, kill your guy, have a 2/4, trade in next turn, and like just keep getting value out of it.
Super good, yeah.
Yeah. And like, giving it only 2 health now, this thing dies to everything.
Right.
It dies to literally everything.
It's a 4-mana spell.
Yeah.
It does 2 extra damage sometimes.
Or it silences something the other time.
Right. Silence is changing.
The utility like
No, like it's like they realized the mistake they made with Charge, for lack of a better word, and then now they're doing the same thing with Silence.
Yeah. Silence is good, and it's sort of like, for the classes that don't have really hard removal, it helps a lot. And there are some threats that are just like, they need to be silenced, you know? Like Tyrion is an example of a card that's just so good when it hits the board, and if you don't silence it, like, you know, it's amazing if you don't silence it, but if you silence it, it's pretty useless.
Yeah. It's
just a 6/6 when you silence it. It doesn't do anything else. So, like, with the power of silence cards being a little less good, maybe we'll see more of these cards that just are powerful as opposed to like, because pretty much the only cards that are very good now, as far as like high end cards, are things that either do something immediately on the battlefield when they're played. So Dr. Boom is the perfect example of a card that is amazing the moment it's played. You know, you don't have to worry about keeping it around turn. It's like if I play my Dr. Boom, I've already gotten value out of it, and I've already underpaid for a very powerful card. You know? While with something like Karen Bloodhoof, you know, I'm overpaying for a card that if I get silenced is not that good. It's just a Yeti. But if it doesn't get silenced, it's a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Or things like Ysera or like Kramagus. Like these very like must silence effects or must kill effects. You know? And just having easy access to silence cards meant that you could easily tech against long like cards that needed to be around on the board for a long time. So maybe now that silence cards aren't quite as good, you know, they'll see a little less play, and that opens up a little bit more room for like these longer cards.
And Cthulhu.
Exactly.
Yes.
That could be very interesting.
I think that's the underlying reason behind all these silence changes.
That's a fair guess.
Like, it's not like they made him immune to silence, right? But like overall, so many cards are like, okay, buff your buffoon.
Buff your buffoon.
Yeah. Right? Like, so it would just be horrible to just be able to play that Keeper of the Grove or Barn Owl, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Ironbeak Owl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, lowering the toughness, like lowering the health of Keeper of the Grove to 2 is it's big. Like, it basically means that nearly every single removal spell in the game kills this thing now. You know, it used to require 4 mana to deal with a Keeper a lot of the time, because you had to do 3 damage and then 1. So you had to be like Frostbolt, ping it, or you had to be Wrath, ping it, or, you know, you had to do 2 things to ever get it to work, or you needed to like use some decent hard removal that you didn't really want to be using, because Keeper of the Grove's already done its work once it's played, right? It's usually already gotten value the moment it hits the field, as opposed to like having to stick around. It was just the fact that like it sticks around with big health and probably trades very well.
Yeah, I think that's a huge nerf overall.
It is
like
and I mean, like, to a company that like Ironbeak Owl being 1 mana more, it's like the same story, right? Now you're really overpaying for a 2/1.
Why not have made Ironbeak Owl a 2/2 though?
I mean, if you make it a 2/2, then it can't be killed with a hero power.
Okay, but like Keeper of the Grove has the choice, and like I guess that's what would have ended up happening. Like, you would have had 1 mana for the choice, whereas here you didn't. But now it's a 2/1.
Yeah,
I think Ironbeak Owl is still okay.
I think it's important to remember that Ironbeak Owl is a neutral card.
Yes,
making it so that like the whole Keeper of the Grove thing is important, because in Druid they're always given choices. So Keeper of the Grove has to be balanced, and it's, you know, it's a rare card. Ironbeak Owl is common.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Good point. Yep.
So I think that like
it's one of those commons that gets played a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's a great common.
Yeah.
No one's arguing that. Ironbeak Owl is definitely a great common. But I mean, silence is just really powerful, and it's an answer. Having it easily accessible makes it used as an answer for a lot of things. It's also really good in aggressive decks, just because like that's how you punch through a lot of that last damage, you know? Like a 2 mana Ironbeak Owl doesn't really break your 6 mana curve when you're trying to just like kill the opponent right away.
Nope,
3 mana
right.
makes it a little harder to do something in Warlock, like silence your Taunter, play a Doomguard.
Yep.
You know, hit you for 5. It's not quite as easy to do it. It delays things like that for a turn if I'm gonna try to win the game by silencing your blocker. You know?
Yeah.
It slows down that whole thing.
Like a lot less. There was a lot less cards to be silenced, in my opinion. Now that Goblins vs. Gnomes is gone. Yeah, I just mean specifically Belcher being out of the game is really
with Max Ramus. Yeah, Belcher leaving is gonna change the like standard a lot.
Yes.
It's gonna change playing Hearthstone a lot. I mean, I don't know how much standard I will be playing, but
oh really? You think you're gonna be playing more Wild?
I don't know. I haven't really played too much Hearthstone lately, but like I don't know. I kind of like the idea of playing with all my cards, but at the same time, like rotating formats kind of help a game like this. So maybe it gives maybe the fact that Blizzard has a little bit more control over what they've created, and they can sort of control the decks that are powerful, and they can print archetypes that will actually see play. Maybe that's the correct way to do it, and maybe it'll be more fun that way. I mean, it is obviously a painful for the wallet to have to buy into a new set every time it's released, but at the same time,
that's how the game is paid for, right?
Exactly. And like speaking of universal answers, like Big Game Hunter.
My goodness.
I can't believe this took this long, honestly.
Really? I did not see this coming.
Really? Big Game Hunter is so damn good.
It's so damn good, but like...
And it was so undercosted. A 3-mana 4/2. So this thing kills something, hits the board, and then usually trades up.
Yeah, it's just... I never felt salty about this being played against me.
Yeah, I mean, you still won't.
Yeah. Oh, especially now, like, and it's going to be much harder to play. And it's not... Like, the body was so good at 3 mana. Like, that was the...
At 5 mana 4/2 is not that great.
No. Now you're definitely going to be holding this in your hand for that minion.
It's a removal spell. Like, Big Game Hunter is removal. That is the only reason you run it. You use it to blow up the big thing immediately.
Right.
I think it's the writing was on the wall. My bet was like them replacing Hemet Nessingwary's ability with this and switching them so that Big Game Hunter killed a beast and Hemet Nessingwary killed a 7-mana thing. So at least that way it was a bigger effect on on a board scale, but at least it was tied to a legendary.
Yeah, that's right. You only get to play one.
Yeah. Now you could still run 2 Big Game Hunters. I don't know why you would, but you could still run 2, and it is a neutral card, so it's available to everybody. Jeez. There's like some... I don't know. The like Hunter's Mark here, I don't know how much that's going to change it. It means like it slows down any shenanigans. I don't know if it does though.
It was I don't think were many Hunter decks playing this card. Like
I think they were. It's basically hard removal.
Yeah. It was it's sort of an inefficient way of removing things, but it also in a way it was right because at 0 mana you don't hurt. Yeah. Now that you're paying 1 mana,
it's basically like a 0 mana 2-for-1 yourself.
Yeah. To get rid of that thing that's
to get rid of
horrible.
The thing. Yeah. Which is great in an aggressive deck. Like you don't care in an aggressive deck if you're getting card disadvantage.
That's right. Yeah.
But you're at the same time like 0 mana makes it like pretty good.
Yeah. Like it was no hurt.
I think
0 mana.
I feel like it's still going to see play at 1. 0 mana is just like a little too silly.
You know what? This is kind of like a silence effect, especially for Cthulhu. And I think now that Cthulhu is a thing, it will see a lot more play. And even at 1 mana, I think it's still going to be worth it and work out. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. At 1 mana, like Hunter's Mark will still see play. I definitely think that for sure. It's good. It's just like a good effect. It's just at 0 mana, being able to do it always. Never having to work it into your plan.
Right.
It was a little like too on point every time.
Isn't there a card that does something whenever you play a Hunter spell, or whenever you play a card you get a Hunter spell?
I think it's every time you play a Hunter spell.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think many people are playing that card, and they probably won't anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, like, going on the additional crazy nerfs, like Blade Flurry being nerfed is huge.
Yeah, there goes another deck.
Yeah. Like, you're not oil roguing people with Blade Flurry anymore. It's more expensive mana-wise.
Well, you're not running oil anymore either.
Oh, I guess you're not going to have oil, to be fair. You're right. I don't know. Blade Flurry is just like... I mean, Blade Flurry did everything. And that's the argument that Blizzard is making, is that Blade Flurry did do everything. Because not only could it wipe the board, it could also finish off the opponent.
For 2 mana, it was ridiculous. Like, such a good card for 2 mana.
Yeah. Like, now it only hits minions. So, it no longer provides that burst damage. And it costs 4 mana, which is about on par for board wipes.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's 4 mana, but it's asking you to have a weapon of like decent power. It's weird, right? Like I almost feel like the nerf with just changing it from hitting players would have been fine, and leaving it at 2 mana was probably okay because of how much commitment you need to actually get a decent sized Blade Flurry onto the table. You know?
Well, it's like almost like 2 mana, double your weapon's attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, or like give yourself Wind Fury for a turn. Like,
oh yeah, exactly.
It's just it was just too good. Or like sacrifice your weapon. You know.
Here's the thing, though. I have to keep in mind all these changes apply to Wild as well. So, like when I said that,
it's true.
It's no longer viable in Standard. There is still oil in Wild.
Exactly.
But without the Blade Fury.
Yeah, I don't know. Rogue is in a really weird place. It feels like they don't have a lot going on, which is a shame. Let's see here. Knife Juggler. I don't think it's going to change much. I think that decks that play Knife Juggler will still play Knife Juggler.
But you know what? Against Northshire Cleric, it changes things.
I guess, yeah. Against like 1/3s in general. So against Warlock and Priest, you'll definitely see like it not being as good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In fact, almost being bad now that it can't kill Northshire Cleric. Like just in that one instance.
Yeah.
Because you basically help it.
I mean, making a card weaker makes a card weaker. I think that's like the most important thing to just sort of realize is that giving it less power for the same cost is definitely like a nerf.
Right, yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't think I think the ability on Knife Juggler is just good enough. Yeah. You know? And a lot of the time, like when I was playing it, you don't really play it on curve. You sort of wait and you keep it so you can do something stupid like turn 5, like play a Knife Juggler, then muster for battle.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, so like I think that you're still going to play the card if you wanted to play the card. I don't think it changes too much. It probably amounts to like 3 or 4 damage over the course of a game, which is definitely like not minor, but at the same time, like Knife Juggler is still Knife Juggler. It's still really good.
As Blizzard put it, it's going to be a more specialized role. Like they fully know that it's totally viable right now, and like it's
every deck. Yeah, a 2 mana 3/2 is playable, like no matter who you are.
Yeah, exactly. But now that it's just a 2/2, like you know, only if you're playing Muster for Battle will you consider putting this in your deck. Like it's not like a lot of decks benefited from this. That's the point they were making, and I agreed.
You could always play Knife Juggler pretty much. You never had to not.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it was a glorified crocodile thing or raptor thing.
Raptor, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Leper Gnome. Poor guy.
Meh.
I don't think Leper Gnome will see much play anymore.
Like, Big Game Hunter did not make me feel salty. Leper Gnome made me feel salty.
Yeah, Leper Gnome was a really feel-bad card.
Yeah.
Whenever this card was played, it was always just like, well, I'm always taking damage. Sometimes I'm taking more.
A lot of damage. For 1 minute.
Yeah. It could amount. It had decent reach just because of the way that the Death Rattle worked, and it's just like it's a 1/1 now, and I'm not sure it'll see play just because as a 1/1 it doesn't really do anything anymore. At least as a 2/1 it could trade up sometimes.
Yeah.
As a
it
1/1,
could trade with Knife Juggler.
Yeah, exactly. It could trade up with Knife Juggler. Now it can't kill Knife Juggler.
Yeah.
It can't kill like any two health thing. It just feels like it's not enough. Like a 1/1 is pretty much, in my opinion, never playable, no matter the effect.
The other gnome, the drawing the card gnome. My goodness.
Wow.
You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
As a female
Novice
gnome
Engineer?
in the art.
Oh Novice Engineer?
Novice Engineer.
That's a 2 mana card.
Yeah, 1/1, draw a card. It wasn't like that was a neutral shiv.
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
And that was nerfed. That was nerfed, and people were still not playing it, but it was It was there.
Yeah. It's one of those things that's just like, I don't know. Drawing a card is a lot better than doing 2 damage.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree with you on that.
You know? I don't know. It's I don't think it'll see play. I really think it'll be it's a pretty heavy-handed nerf.
Arcane Golem. Arcane Garbage.
What's that? There's another 3-mana 4/4.
Your opponent draws a card. Your opponent draws a card?
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Okay. Is this better or worse than that?
Better.
There's also the Ogre, right? There's a 3-mana 4/4 Ogre.
That one I really like. That one has the random attack, basically.
Yeah, the random attack, yeah.
That one I love. I absolutely love that card.
I mean, like, Arcane Golem being a 3-mana 4/4 now. I mean, it's just like Charge. Charge is too good.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of Charge. Nothing has Charge.
It is a bigger body now, though, so that is a thing. So like that,
yeah, it's 4/4 now. That's not bad.
That's a reasonable nerf. Is it a nerf or is it just a change? It changes the entire card basically.
It's kind of like a side grade. It's less breakable, and it's just like a value card. The question is it worth it to give your opponent a mana crystal for a 4/4 on turn 3?
Like then again, if you on turn 3, I think you're okay. And then even if you're playing this on turn 10 when that mana crystal is irrelevant, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this might be better than your.
I don't think it's better than having Charge, but I do.
Think the one that draws your opponent a card.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
The old Arcane Golem was great. This one is mediocre, but not awful.
I do think it's better to give your opponent a mana crystal than it is to let your opponent draw a card. At least in like the normal matchup. In the aggro mirror, I feel like this is. Is
this an aggro card anymore?
It's 3-mana 4/4 is definitely an aggro card.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
I mean, it's less aggro without the charge.
In an aggro mirror, this is definitely better. In an aggro control matchup, I don't know if this is better.
Well, the other card is strictly a control card.
Yeah.
Because people throw them into that guy to get the card, and yet they clear their board at the same time, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's definitely a big change, and it's just sort of like, it's just the ongoing theme of Charge being too good. It's like every card with Charge is just too strong. Most of the time.
The cards with the cards with Charge left are few and far between. Like there's that one, the Hunter one, the 8/8.
Yeah, but I mean.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. An 8/8 for 8 that has Charge is like fair.
Yeah.
And not really breakable in the same way some of this other stuff is. Plus it's also class specific, which I think they have less of a problem with, because if it's class specific, they can limit the ways it can be abused.
Exactly, yeah.
It's when you start giving Charge to things that aren't supposed to have Charge, or having things that have Charge with class specific ways of making it very silly. Like when you're shadow stepping Leroy, it's very silly.
Yes. When
you're giving every single neutral minion that has lower than 3 or lower attack Charge, it's silly.
That's silly. Yes.
One card with Charge doesn't make your deck ridiculous, but
yeah,
it's just an interesting like design change across the board, I think. What did they say here? Charge is an ability we've learned to use sparingly. Yeah, I'll say.
It's almost like I know with the Grand Tournament they kind of went anti-aggro, and they're just continuously moving down that road. It's almost as if they wanted to spend like 15 minutes playing every Hearthstone game.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to like slow down the game a little bit, which I don't think is bad. I think that I'd love to be able to play more like strict control in Hearthstone.
But they have to change the ladder system in that case, because it kind of lost me. Not being able to play like Clash Royale, right?
Yeah, Clash Royale. Are you still? I think I'm actually in Arena 4 now.
I changed my deck. I'm approaching Arena 4, but yeah.
I think I'm actually I won 5 games after I got into Arena 4, and now I'm actually in there.
Okay.
So it feels good. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like Arena 4 cards?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, once you have them, right?
Exactly, yeah. You can use them even if you drop again.
Exactly.
Sidetracked, but Molten Giant.
I haven't seen this card a lot being played.
I mean, it's basically just like less good. I mean, it requires you to be at, what was it? Cost 1 less for each damage your hero has taken. So it was free at 10 health. Now it's free at 5 health.
Right.
Which means mages can't be like Molten Giant, Echo of Medivh, Molten Giant, Echo of Medivh.
Yep. You have to be at least 15 health to play it, basically, unless you're a druid.
Yeah.
So when you're at 15 health, do you want to be playing this card? For 10 mana? No. It's an okay card. I guess maybe the fact that you don't have easy access to Big Game Hunter anymore, it might actually be better. Like, that's probably why they had to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Just like with the giants with this being one of the faster giants and really punishing you for getting hit, maybe just like, you know, it was always very frustrating to be the aggro player against like something like a handlock, get them down really low, and then they just like double Molten Giant you and taunt them up, and all of a sudden you've lost the game.
Exactly, right?
So I mean your way around that used to be the fact that Big Game Hunter was a 3-mana card. So if this was nerfed and BGH wasn't, like, that really just makes it a really bad card. Period, because it gets dealt with so quickly.
Exactly, yeah. The way they put it here is the changes to Force of Nature in Arcane Golem will make dropping to low health somewhat less risky, which is interesting to say because as far as I'm aware, healing with Antique Healbot gone, very different.
Yeah, it's more specialized. If you want to be able to heal, you have to be in a class that really is good at healing.
Yeah,
Not everyone's gonna have access to the same abilities now.
That determination, though, that it's now less risky, I think is maybe not...
It's going to be nice not to be staring down a druid and being like, "Can you just kill me here?"
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Because like it could be turn 6, and he's got Force of Nature, double Innervate, Savage Roar. Not even counting if he's played a Wild Growth, so he's a turn ahead of mana on you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like all of a sudden you're at half health. Like, it's always been there. It's a really stupid game to have to play. To be like, you have 5 cards in hand. Am I just dead here? Trying to get that read isn't fun, and it shouldn't. Like, you should. I don't know. I'm of two minds. I like the idea of like killing someone from hand and like having to put people on stuff, but like Druid had it way too easy compared to like what some other people had to do for 1-turn kills.
Okay, that's a good point. It was like what, 16 damage guaranteed, right?
Yeah. It's 14.
14.
If you with
with your hero power also as well.
Not even with your hero power, it's 15.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but like the character has attack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a half your health.
Yep. Yeah, and if you were below 14 health or at 14 health, you were like, okay, I'm...
And that's just with the cards that you're playing in the combo. If you have other creatures on board, it's even better.
Exactly, yeah.
It's just like very frustrating to have to play that game. And Druid was just way too easy to pull it off. And it would happen accidentally. Like, it was just this like check that would have to be passed after a certain point. Like, you would get low and you had to either shore up against them having a combo to kill you, which sometimes even if you shored up, if they had a big enough board state, then you lose anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not upset. I think that it's slowing down the game a little bit and like realizing that charge is a dangerous card to just let happen all the time. It does make the game a little bit easier to balance, I think.
Yeah.
Just sort of like nerfing it across the board, not letting it happen everywhere.
That being said, I don't get the next and final change.
Yeah, this is really confusing. I've never seen Master of Disguise played.
Right.
Ever. I guess there's like some cheesiness with the combo Like you could, because it doesn't give them stealth until the end of turn.
Like I guess you do it to Cthulhu.
My only suspicion is like there's cards in WOTG that this would have been very dangerous with, and then they're preemptively nerfing it. I think that's like the main reason.
No, exactly, right? I mean, a 4/4 for 4 is mediocre at best. Yeah. So, but like a card that never saw play, to nerf it, exactly. It has to be preemptive. They have to be thinking of something.
If you want a card that has stealth and gets to keep stealth, you have to actually play a card that has stealth and gets to keep stealth.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't just get to play this card and give something stealth.
Yeah. But like for 4 mana, it was never that like, oh, this card...
I don't know. It's very weird to me, quite honestly. Exactly. It's just like, very weird to me. I mean, I understand why it's being nerfed, but I can only imagine that there's a card we haven't seen that's really abusing this.
Like, this wasn't in, like, the Legend meta, was it? Because, like, I
don't think so. Yeah. I have no idea. I'm bad at the game.
It wouldn't really be helpful in Oil Rogue, and it's not a neutral card.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's not neutral is just like, yeah, but so why did this exist? Yeah. Why is this being changed? Like, was it really a problem? I don't know. But I mean, that's the end of the patch notes. It's some serious changes.
Huge changes. I don't think they've made a change like this since like open beta.
Yeah. It's nice. It's definitely one of the advantages of playing like having a card game that's digital is the fact that you can revisit earlier design decisions and make adjustments, and I think that's definitely good. It's definitely good.
Yeah.
It's good for the game. It's good for like development, and like it means that more design space can be opened up in future expansions. Because I mean, their plan is to keep classic cards always there. Right?
Exactly. And what was changed today might be changed again tomorrow.
Exactly. Who knows? Yeah. But it's good. I mean, while we're on the discussion of Blizzard games, Overwatch is coming out at the end of May, I believe.
Okay.
But the open beta begins on the 3rd, and it begins on the 2nd if you've pre-ordered. Have you pre-ordered?
No.
I have pre-ordered.
Okay. I think I might as well.
I played like 2 weekends ago, I think, was the open beta weekend.
Just looks like so much fun.
It was a blast. I played with like a pre-made group of 5 or 6, and we were trash talking each other and just giving each other a hard time. And the game has great characters. I think that like the sense of verticality is what really is always really good with that game. Is that like there are the characters who take advantage of heights, and like and just like the fact that some characters have that advantage, and some characters don't, but they trade it for other things. Like I started playing McCree over the beta weekend, and that's a character who can't get up high at all. He has one jump. He has no way to climb walls. He has no grappling hook. He has no double jump. He has no flight. He is a purely ground-based guy. And playing with him is like, it's a completely different element compared to playing someone like Genji who gets to climb walls, or playing Widowmaker who can, grappling hook up to something, or any of the guys who can fly. Or it's just such a different, it's just the variety that each character has feels so good, and the play is so tight, and Blizzard and they added all the unlocks and things in the most recent beta. So the like all the cosmetic unlocks are there, and it's just super fun, and everyone seemed to be having a good time. I didn't encounter anybody that was really salty over my time playing it, which was good. I wish the beta had been up. Yeah, I wish the beta had been up for a little longer, because it basically just started Friday during the day, and I was at work, and then it ended Saturday. And I didn't get to play a whole lot. So, what I did play, I really enjoyed. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm going to be very content playing it for a good little while. It's the only FPS I've played recently where I've had like a very fun time.
I think Blizzard hit the nail with like the art style with this game, and the marketing going on. Okay, like that's what got me, because obviously I played it with you that one time, and it's just like, okay, this is fun, it's great. But like nothing got to me until I saw the hype behind the fact that this is the newest Blizzard franchise, and like it truly got to me. Like, okay, yeah, this is not Diablo, this is not StarCraft, this is not Warcraft.
This is finally like a
brand new thing, and it's the future of Blizzard essentially.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like World of Warcraft 2 might be Overwatch MMO, right?
Maybe,
Like
who
it's a
knows?
possibility. I love that it looks like a Pixar movie.
The art style is really good. One thing I
Yeah,
really like with Overwatch, and I'll compare it to like Black Ops 3 just for a moment.
sure.
So Black Ops 3 has all these operatives who have special powers, but the silhouettes in Black Ops are very similar. Everyone is a dude or lady who is of average height, of average build, and is pretty much indistinguishable at a glance. And you die so quickly in Black Ops 3 that it's impossible to know what the special ability that will kill you is. There's just so much going on, you know? But with Overwatch, every single silhouette is unique. You know, if I look across the map and I see a character, 9 times out of 10 you can identify that character right away. You know, and they've made like the big characters who are tanky. They are imposing. You see them, you realize that they are tanks. They probably will take a lot of damage. You know, like every character looks very distinct, so you sort of know what you're going up against at a glance, which I think is really important. And it's just, it's one of the reasons that like, because the ability to change your class at any time with Overwatch is such a huge component of the game. Because it basically means that you have to tackle various strategies that the enemy puts out with strategies of your own.
Yeah, it seems very well thought out. And the fact that it's such a derivative genre, and yet Blizzard is innovating it to the point that they have. So I think that's just credit to like the game design itself. And like, I've only played like 5 minutes at your place that one time, and I loved it, and I'm gonna get it. It's interesting that you say that the open beta starts on May 3rd. That's correct?
Yes.
So that's when Battleborn comes out.
Yeah.
Like released.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. So Overwatch is more akin to like TF2 than it is to a MOBA, which is I think very important.
Yeah, which
like,
is what Battleborn is.
Yeah, Battleborn is a MOBA. Really? It has minions, it has MOBA mechanics. Your character levels up, you get gold, you use that gold to give yourself certain advantages, and then you try to push into the opponent's base and win. I played the beta because it's an open beta right now, and I played the closed beta a while ago. The characters are okay. There's a lot of variety. It doesn't feel. It feels like it's a MOBA first and foremost, and the fact that it's first person is sort of like you don't get to lock on to enemies, so you do have to actually aim. But it is just first person in the sense that it's like the game could have been done in like third person. It could have been done as a strategy game.
Oh, okay.
You know, it doesn't feel like it's particularly. I don't know, like Battleborn
it could have been isometric, basically.
I'm sick of the MOBA style game. Not every game needs minions. You know, and the pace of the game is just a lot slower, I think. And
it not just
doesn't
vertical?
have like
It's not as vertical at all, eh?
There is verticality. I don't know. The game just takes a lot longer in general to do, and the speed of the game with Overwatch is just so fast and hectic that it was a lot of fun. Plus, I mean, there's like you have to unlock characters in Battleborn. That being said, it's really ethical how they do it. Like you don't have to pay currency to do it. You just level up your player rank and you unlock more characters.
Is it free to play?
I don't believe so. I believe they're going to sell it for $49.99.
Oh.
Let me check the Steam store real fast. Battleborn. $79.99 Canadian.
And you don't get everything unlocked. You have to unlock.
Yeah, but you don't have to like pay currency. So it's not like you have to like actually unlock things over the course of the game. It's more just like as you play the game, your player rank will go up, and every time your player rank goes up, you unlock another character. So you'll only ever be playing against people who have pretty much the similar characters to you. Maybe a couple more, maybe a couple less, but in general, the matchmaking should pair you up against people who have a similar character pool.
Okay. Overall, what are your thoughts between the two? Because obviously the two companies are comparing the two games to each other.
Yeah, I mean, like they're going to be compared, and I think that's not exactly fair. You get more in the box with Battleborn. Because not only do you get like a multiplayer game, you also get...
There's a campaign.
There's a campaign.
That's right.
There's co-op.
Yeah.
And there's just like there's more options, while Overwatch is basically being touted as it is a multiplayer shooter. It is a objective style multiplayer shooter. That's all it is. They're trying to do that very, very well. That's the entire point of the game. It's the price point on Battleborn is high, but at the same time you do get a lot, which I think is okay. But I mean, like, what a game is worth to you is really subjective anyway. So who really, like, it's not. I don't think that's fair. But at the same time, like, the style of Battleborn just didn't do it for me. I don't really care about minions. If I wanted to play a MOBA, I would play like one of the ones that's established and like good to go.
Okay.
If I was going to play a MOBA, it would probably be something like Dota, or maybe pick up League again or whatever. And even Heroes of the Storm, like if I wanted a quick game, it's just when I'm playing a first person shooter, I kind of want it to be more of a first person shooter than an action RPG.
Is that what you're calling Battleborn, a MOBA action RPG?
It's a MOBA has RPG elements, I think, in the most like literal sense, but like I just like the feel of Overwatch a lot more. And I think I like the TF2 formula a lot more than like a first person League formula.
Yeah.
I think that's just personal preference though. I'm sure that Battleborn will get a lot of players. I hope it does. It would be a shame to see it die, considering that the characters are pretty good and the voice acting for the campaign stuff is actually very funny. So
yeah, the fact that it has a campaign, I think, was the right move on their part.
Yeah, you do get a lot of value when you buy Battleborn, which is good.
Yeah,
more is good. It didn't feel like the game suffered at all because they had resources on both.
Yeah. Who makes Battleborn?
Gearbox.
Okay.
So the guys who made Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Borderlands 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely from what I've played, I definitely preferred Overwatch. But I mean, that's personal preference. I will not be buying Battleborn, though. I have no interest. The beta was fun.
For that price, I don't know. Yeah,
it's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, Canadian dollars in the toilet right now, so $80 is a lot of money for a video game.
That's right.
I feel like we're in Australia.
Yep.
Man, I'm not paying that much less for Overwatch, honestly. Like, I think that the... what is it actually? Let me open up Battle.net. Starting Battle.net. Let's see how much Overwatch is. It's never opening forever. It's never opening.
It's you're online.
There we go. All right. $39.99 US for the standard edition and $59.99 US for the Origins edition,
which gets you a bunch of toys.
Yeah, so let's see what it gets you. You get the same skin that you would get just by pre-ordering. You get 5 special skins. You get some wings for Diablo 3. You get a baby Winston pet for WoW. You get card backs for Hearthstone. You get 6 Overwatch-themed StarCraft portraits. And you get the Tracer hero for Heroes of the Storm. So there's a lot there. If you're into that kind of thing. I mean... Blizzard is really all about that, like, each game gets you things in other games. Honestly, it might be worth it for the skins. The skins that they're packing with the game for Overwatch are pretty good.
And the baby Winston pet is really, really cute if you're still playing WoW.
Yeah. It's pretty cute.
I resubscribed for the next 6 months, by the way.
I did not. I canceled my subscription. I have no time to play the games I have, let alone World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I wanna beat a Hellfire Chasm before
someone
Legions.
Freaking posted this picture on Reddit of like WoW in 2006 and then WoW in 2012, and it was like a picture of him and his guild all huddled up in 2006. And then in 2012 it was just him, and I'm like, that is pretty much my WoW experience in a nutshell.
Yep.
It's just not the same game anymore. Oh, no. Actually, speaking of news, did you hear about that like private WoW server being shut down?
Yes.
That's
a big deal.
Nosferalis or something, I think is what it's called. That's freaking like so stupid.
There was like 13,000 active people on that server.
Yeah, it was nuts. It's so not appropriate for Blizzard to do that. Like, I understand that, they don't have to, but like it's just so unfair. And like they don't provide this service to players. And it's not like these are lost subscriptions. Like, the people who are playing on this server are not going to play your game, period.
Exactly.
They have no interest in modern WoW. I have no interest in modern WoW. The game is so different. It is so...
Here's the thing. Someone, I was watching a YouTube video, I wish I got the username, but he had mentioned, why don't they do WoW seasons? Maybe do a vanilla WoW season server, do it every 1 or 2 months, make the experience maybe 4 times, so everyone gets to 60 a little bit quicker.
That's genius.
And then, have certain rewards. They love giving mounts and pets as rewards. Just do that. And bam, I would do that. I would so do that.
Yeah.
You get the leveling experience again. You get all those, everyone's rating, I thought that was such a great idea. And they would do it right. They did it for Diablo, and they can do it for this.
Yeah. I don't know. WoW is varied so far off the original formula that made it great, I think. That it's just hard to sort of do. I don't know. Blizzard thinks they know best with that game, so they can do what they want, but I think that closing down that private server was very foolish, and I think that it just builds resent in the community.
One of the ex-developers said that they really, 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 really should not have done that, which apparently was big news, and that's what made it get even more attention.
Was it Mark Kern?
Maybe.
I don't know. It wasn't like this server was making money. It was 100% volunteer. The developers didn't take anything. If you wanted to donate, all you could do was help pay for server upkeep. That was it. You could not give these guys money. They did it purely as a fan project. And these are the fans of the game. That's what bugs me about this. These are guys who love your game. They loved it. They loved original WoW so much that they recreated it from scratch so that they could continue playing it forever. These are the fans. These are the real diehard fans, and you just shat all over them. And you said, no, this is not allowed, and we will not have to play Modern WoW. And we will not provide you a way to do this. But what you're doing is not allowed.
Final Fantasy XIV should have opened up their gates at that point. Because Final Fantasy XIV is the closest thing to vanilla WoW.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I know it's funny because I just spent the last whatever, gushing about Overwatch, which is great. This idea, this whole decision was so stupid. There's a great JonTron video where he goes on about how dumb it is, and I agree with every single point. There was no reason to do this, and it's downright rude. It's just downright rude. It's not, these guys weren't hurting you. You are not losing subscribers for this. You're losing subscribers because you're making the game garbage. That's why you're losing subscribers.
Yep.
None of these people would have ever played your game, and you've guaranteed that they won't by shutting this down.
Yes, by doing... Well, some of those people may have been you know what? Whatever, I'm going to play WoW. I want to try Legion. But now, the incentive is gone. They were betrayed.
It's not worth it. And it was foolish, and it was short-sighted.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure was all there. It doesn't cost nearly anything to keep that server up. It was just Blizzard not wanting... And it's at this point, it's Blizzard turning away free money because people would pay for this. Guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed people would pay for this. 100%.
Yeah, I don't get the decision by not having vanilla WoW servers.
I don't know. There's a thing from BlizzCon where a bunch of the developers got asked, is there any plan for legacy servers at all? And the answer they give is really condescending. We can put it in the video description if I can find it, but it's super lame. It's really, really lame.
Yeah. You don't want it. Trust us. You don't want it.
Yeah. It's just
13,000 people wanted it.
Yeah, with over 1 million people actually registered on the server.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous. No reason to close this down. Blizzard, I love you, but you screwed up there. You screwed up there. What you did was anti-fan. It was anti-consumer. If you're going to shut it down, you have to provide your own. They weren't competing with you.
Exactly.
Oh, now I'm sad.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad and angry.
Is it too much to go into our next salty topic?
Well, you can do it. I
know, right? Rant. Just
So what's up with the division? You're level capped now, right?
Right.
Have you done anything now that you're level capped?
No, I am actually 1 or 2 green, yellow, blue missions away from maxing my base of operations.
Okay.
So I'm doing that before I go into the end game truly. So I think I have high hopes for the actual end game, but the leveling experience was so bad.
Yeah. In hindsight,
my god!
Like
the
leveling experience is kind of shit.
Bad.
Yeah.
I have to compare it to like a game which did it better, and I'm going to say this: Mad Max. It's the same style, repetitive, like ongoing, seamless world, beautiful.
But at least it was fun.
What?
At least it was fun.
I had fun, way more fun with Mad Max.
That's what I mean. Like, at least Mad Max was fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Like being a cover shooter and having repetitive style missions and those bullet sponge enemies was not fun. I wish my character could have jumped. Like, I obviously, like, it didn't work with the cover shooter mechanics, but like the fact that I couldn't jump around New York and just like I had to run in a straight line every time made it like way more boring. There's not enough incentive to explore the world. Like, why not give me a reward for every 5 incident reports I find, or every 6 missing agents I find? Like, there was just no incentive to do all the like exploration part. The missions were all exactly the same. Like, I cannot repeat that enough.
Serious case of Assassin's Creed syndrome. Yeah,
but at the very least, Assassin's Creed has an okay story, like an okay to a very good story, depending on the game.
Yeah.
So this one, it was just so bad. The only good thing I could say about it is that each and every safe zone or whatever they're called, boroughs of New York, not even boroughs, but like just those where each part of the safe zone. Yeah, zone. The JTF officer giving you the quests was hilarious.
On point. Yeah, on point. Every single one is really funny. Yeah,
which was great because that contrasted with the really bleak and dark setting. However, not enough. It was not enough. I was just listening to podcasts the whole time, listening to my own music. I did not care for.
You know what? I did the exact same thing. I basically tuned out while I was leveling.
At first I thought it was great that they were forcing me to go on my mic and talk to my teammates during missions. I just turned that off eventually because I'm like, I don't care what you have to say. We can just run through this mission, no problem.
Yeah.
And what else? Leveling, just so unnecessary.
Yeah, it was definitely a part of the game that didn't need to be there.
No, they could have, like, in Mad Max, you do not level. I still felt like progressing.
Yeah, leveling did not feel like you were progressing at all. You're right.
Yeah. I was the same character from like level 16 onwards.
It was just a bunch of checklists. Like, it was just a bunch of checklists to hit like various breakpoints.
Like, I would have been fine to complete all those story and side missions if they were great, but they were not.
They were definitely not.
And New York looked great, but it was not.
Yeah, the game is gorgeous.
Yeah. Why not have a mount? Like, or something. I don't know. Give me a bicycle. Yeah. Like, that would have been better. And then I could do a drive-by. That would have been fun. I don't know.
Now that you're max level, you're literally never going to walk anywhere because there's just fast travel anywhere.
Great. Even better.
I'll never see that beautiful world that they built. Yeah.
I'll feel so immersed in this MMO.
Yeah. There's like some serious, I don't know. They just released the raid. I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet.
Apparently the raid is just a wave mission.
Really?
Yep. You're in one room and waves, like 15 waves come in. And if you die, you wipe and you have to start at the beginning. That's the hard part.
Oh, hooray.
But, like, some of those missions were somewhat okay compared to waves. Like, you had 3 different routes where you had, like...
I like the challenge mode missions. I think they're one of the stronger parts of the game, for sure. Because they're challenging and they require, like, a decent team comp. You know? But...
Yeah. Perhaps...
It's like... No, I think... I was talking with a buddy of mine, and he was saying that what the Division really needed was to make like the PvP aspect better of it too, was it needed you to choose a side at the beginning. It needed like an alliance horde setup so that the game could abstract these conflicts and actually have like some PvP missions. Because right now there's just no reason, like it. I don't know. It just feels like
it'll become that though. I can tell because the whole thing with the first wave guy who's like, hey, the Dark Zone, why do you think they locked that all up? You find out for yourself. Go there and find out. I'm like, okay, I haven't done that, but I can tell it's kind of lead up to like us having to choose between the JTF and his team or whatever.
In like a later expansion.
one of the paid expansions that you get a season pass to play. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's I don't know. It's really, what's the word to describe? The Division's trying to be everything right now, and it needed to specialize a little bit more on what they wanted players to be doing at the end of the game.
Yeah. Do you think it would have been better if the incursion was there from the very get-go?
I don't think so, because people still needed to gear up anyway. So I think the incursion being there
that's a good point.
Is a moot point when it showed up. I think that it's kind of silly to have a wave-based big mission when all the other missions of the game have this really great sense of progression and verticality when you go through them. But if it's just wave-based, that feels like a step backwards.
Right? Yeah. It's just a loot cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a definite issue with just the game doesn't have enough mechanics. I think that's another thing that bothers me a lot. Is that there's one boss fight in the game that has mechanics. It's the last boss fight of the game. Everything else is just a big dude with lots of health.
Yep.
Every single one. You have to behave a little bit differently when the big dude has a flamethrower or when the big dude has a machine gun. But the actual game doesn't have enough going on. It's not deep enough. With the way that all the stats work and everything.
The models for the bosses are repetitive.
Yeah.
If you're going to go cheap on the mechanics, at least make them look different.
You just always have the same thing.
Yeah.
There's definitely some weirdness with the game and the way it works. And massive drop the ball on a couple things right out of the gate. They've nerfed crafting since they started. So now it's a lot harder to craft things. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play it again anytime soon. I haven't picked it up in a while.
Do you have the season pass?
I do.
Yeah.
I might wait. I don't know. It's just it felt like the whole game has been really good, and I enjoyed leveling it, and I like the Dark Zone while I was leveling. And I know they've changed the Dark Zone a bit now, but I've already got high-end gear. So I don't know why I would bother going in. I don't know.
Here's the thing: a lot of people love it, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing. Is it just us? I don't know.
I don't think it's just us. I think that now that you're level 30, maybe it would be nice to revisit it and do some Dark Zone stuff together.
Yeah. No, I would like to speed up my gearing process. I would like to do an incursion.
Well, you can't do an incursion until you're in high ends.
Yeah, at least 140.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I don't want to be playing the game for the next month only to do a 15 wave incursion.
I feel like there were definitely some balance issues and design issues right when the game was launched, and I think that it's sort of in the process of correcting itself, but at the same time, maybe just the core design of the game is flawed. I couldn't tell you.
I honestly think it might be that. I still have high hopes for the expansions.
I just think they need to gamify more of the weapons and make more of them viable. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, let me check the Reddit. Maybe there's some news on it. But as far as I know, the SMGs are still the most powerful, and there hasn't really been any work going on there. Let's see. Attachments should not cost more than gun parts. PS4.
Well, whatever. Whether or not the weapons are at the end of the day, you're just pumping each and every enemy with millions of
10
bullets.
10 million bullets. Yeah.
Do we have flamethrowers? Is that a thing?
No, we don't.
Okay. Why not?
I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. Give me something here. Give me a grenade launcher. Why not?
I had a really bad experience in the Dark Zone just because of cheaters.
Still, yeah. See.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. There's a lot of cheating on the PC version, which is a shame because Massive needs to deal with that.
Apparently, they got rid of the main exploit from the incursion, and there's just another.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well. We'll see. Maybe they'll like. Maybe it just needs a case of like the way that Destiny was, where eventually it'll just like there'll be a good patch and it will fix everything and it will be glorious.
Maybe. And yeah, people hated Destiny, but a lot of people still played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
I mean, Destiny's gotten better apparently, so I couldn't tell you.
Right.
Man. All right. Let's talk about something that isn't disappointing.
Okay.
Dark Souls 3 rocks my socks. And
I know nothing about this.
It's so good.
Yeah?
It is so damn good. I don't have nearly as much time in it as I want, so this will probably be a lot shorter than it would be if I played
first
a lot
impressions.
of it.
First impressions.
Yeah. So I've done about 3 bosses.
Okay.
From what I can tell immediately, the game is a lot faster than the original 2 Dark Souls games, and even Demon Souls. The game is so much faster. Your roll costs less stamina, so you use it a lot more. And like the game just like it's a lot harder to just like hide behind your shield and wait for enemies to swing and then just swing back. You have to dodge a lot more. Blocking is a lot less effective, and the game is just very high speed. Like enemy combo attacks are a lot faster and a lot harder to deal with. It is excellent. It is painful. It's gorgeous. The game is so damn pretty. I love it. The online mechanics are really nice, and it's got like there's still some jankiness as far as like how the online does work. Like it doesn't always work 100%. Like summoning people is never a sure thing. But they've got some great mechanics in there for making sure you can summon your friends, which is nice. Yeah, it's just like really, really good, and it's very fun, and I'm very happy with it, and I want to play more of it, and I will probably play a lot more this weekend.
What do you like best about it?
Just like this, I think it's just like nice to play a Dark Souls game without having a wiki, and like it's like the fresh experience again. Like the suffering is very real, and it's really challenging, but it's like at the same time it's a lot of new stuff to learn. Well, at the same time they scaled back on a lot of the mechanics that were like a little non-intuitive. So a lot of the like back end stuff as far as like derived stats is different now, and a lot of them don't exist anymore. So it's a lot more just like these are your basic stats. You can change them to affect how your character works, but you don't have to like fill out these mandatory random slots that only do this abstract thing that you would only know about if you read the Wikipedia page on it.
Oh.
So it's a lot more like you can actually it's a lot less fine-tuning your character and a lot more just making the character you want to make.
Okay.
A lot less like mandatory things. Like there's no agility skill anymore. So the agility stat was like you had to raise one of 2 abilities. I can't remember what it is, but when you leveled up, you had to raise one of 2 abilities, and then those stats would increase your agility, which was just like one derived stat that had various breakpoints at like 96, 99, and like 102. And you had to, if you hit your agility at each one of those points, every time you hit one of those breakpoints, you would get more invincibility frames whenever you rolled.
Okay. So
it's like it's a very abstract stat that really did need to be leveled if you wanted to be able to dodge well, but like why put it in there? It didn't tell you that's how it worked in the game. You had to look that up online.
Yeah, so I guess they just went with the whole philosophy that you shouldn't be having a browser and a game running at the same time.
Yeah, you can definitely play Dark Souls 3 without referring to anything, which I think is really cool.
That's great. That's how games should be played, to be honest.
If you want to understand the mechanics of the game, it definitely doesn't feel like there's definitely some if you've never played a Souls game, Dark Souls 3 definitely does require you to do some experimentation and figure out like what certain weapon infusions do and like how certain weapons work and which one you prefer using. But that's part of the game. That's what makes the game fun. But there aren't these like really nitpicky stats that are completely obtuse unless you've read the Wikipedia page on them.
Okay.
So I think that Dark Souls 3 is a much better new player experience than either of the other 2.
I still want to play Dark Souls 2.
1's better, but 2 is okay.
Yeah, if you say so.
But yeah, I need to sink more time into Dark Souls 3. It is very, very good. Very, very good. And they've nailed it. The atmosphere is great. The character models are great.
Yeah, no, I've seen like at least how the game looks. It looks fantastic. That's what I want to get into it for. It looks like that world looks beautiful. Just beautiful.
It's definitely the darkest Dark Souls game. Like, just the setting, I think, is, like, very bleak, which is very cool. But it's good. And since we're never going to get Bloodborne on PC, this is pretty much as good as it's going to get for the next foreseeable future. Huh. But it's really good. And if you're into challenging games, I think, so just one thing that did happen is I did use a summon for one of the bosses, and I did summon another player to help me. That was not a good idea. It definitely, the moment you add another player to the game, it's a lot easier.
Oh. Yeah, and that obviously takes away from the experience.
I think so. I think that challenging yourself to beat the game on your own is definitely, like, good. That being said, like, the social aspect of Dark Souls is one of the main reasons, like, it's such a unique series with how the game does multiplayer. So I think that, like, it's still an enjoyable game, and it saved me a couple hours of playtime to beat this boss because of the summon. But at the same time, I think it would have been nice to, like, have beaten it by myself. And that's something that's always there. You can always challenge yourself to beat the game by yourself. You can impose these limitations on you to actually enjoy it in a particular way, which I think is good. But I love it. It's great. I love it. It's the best game ever. Game of the year 2016. No problem. Easy. That's
what a lot of people are saying. Game of the year
so
2016.
Good.
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't behind the curve so much. I wish I'd gotten through it. A buddy of mine's already on New Game Plus, and I'm like, fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's really fun, really challenging. I forgot, like, I never had, like, any of these. It's funny because I was playing Dark Souls 2 again, and it didn't have the same. It definitely did not have the same, like, difficulty moments that Dark Souls 3 has had so far. And maybe it's just because I'm unfamiliar with Dark Souls 3, and Dark Souls 2 was such a, like, I've played it a couple times, so, like, for me, there's a lot of stuff that I remember. But, like, the bosses and the execution of the game in general for Dark Souls 2 does not feel as difficult as it does in Dark Souls 3. And that might just have to do with the speed as well. So I don't know.
So they actually made a harder game.
I think it is a harder game.
Simplified the stats.
So I definitely think that Dark Souls 3 is the hardest of the Dark Souls games so far that I've played, for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Which is really good. And I think that it's a very fair level of challenging. Yeah, I think it's because right now I'm trying to, maybe it also might have to do with the fact that I'm not using a shield.
Okay.
Because I'm hardcore like that. I only have my katana, and I'm murdering everything two-handed.
Wow. That's quite the departure, right?
It's really freaking difficult.
You love the shield from Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, in Dark Souls 1 and 2, I was, like, all about big sword, big shield. And now I'm all just about, like, no armor, decently sized sword, no shield. But it's good. Dark Souls 3 is very good. Very, very good. I'm excited to play more of it. And I will be playing more of it. Maybe not tonight. Maybe not tomorrow. But I will be playing more of it.
Good.
And I guess that's it. There's a 20XX patch on Wednesday.
Okay.
Which will be super fun. I don't know if you've played it recently. We should probably play it after the podcast. But 20XX is so good now.
No, yeah, I guess I'd like to see it.
It's a completely different beast than it used to be, like, a month ago. It's absurd how well these guys are doing. I'm so happy.
Okay.
I've never seen like a bunch of indie developers with more love for what they're creating than these guys. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, right? Because it's completely changed from the time I first bought it.
Oh yeah,
and now
it's so much tighter. The control is so much better than it was when I first got it too. And I was like, when I bought it, I was like, oh, this is a really cool idea. I hope they do really well. And now it's like, oh, the art's all different. The sounds are all different. There's more items. We've added like core augments to the game so it changes how all the players play. Like, it's just like, what is this? What have you done? Why is it so good? Take my money. Best early access game I've bought, for sure. 100%. I'm usually against trying to get early access lately, but like, this game is so worth it. That being said, I did just buy the culling, which is also really fun. But we can talk about that next time.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess that's it for the episode for 425.
Great way to end it on a positive note after maybe 20 minutes of negativity on both our parts.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to end positively because I actually did get salty a bit about Blizzard and the Division and. But overall, like, Dark Souls 3 is definitely, like, has delivered in every single way, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm really happy that I got it. But I guess that's it for 4/25/2016. You've been listening to Club and Pack, and we hope you have a great evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.